Cell, its structure and functions. In this video, we are going to learn about different parts of cell, different cell organelles as well as their functions. Cell is the basic unit of life. All the living organisms on this earth, including plants, animals, microorganisms, are made up of cells. Many scientists have studied about the cell by making of their own microscopes because the cells are so minute that they cannot be observed with our naked eye. They can be observed only under the microscope. Cells are organized as tissues. That means different cells together form tissues. The tissues, different types of tissues together form the organs. The organs are organized into the organ systems. Together form an organism. This is how the life is organized from cells to organism. What are the differences that you find in between these two cells? There are two types of cells displayed over here. The first one is animal cell. The second one is plant cell. Let us see some of the differences between plant cell and animal cell. Plant cell versus animal cell. Plant cell contains cell wall. Cell wall is being the outermost layer in plant cell, whereas cell wall is absent in animal cell. The plant cells contain special organelles called chloroplasts to perform photosynthesis, which is a distinguishing feature of plants, whereas the animal cells do not contain chloroplasts. A big vacuole is found in plant cell to maintain the turgor pressure as the plants continuously absorb water, whereas there is no any big vacuole in animal cell, or there may be small vacuoles may be found in animal cell. And in plant cells, in general, centrioles are not found. They will be formed only during the cell division. But in animal cell, we can observe the centrioles too. These are the differences between plant cell and animal cell. Let us see the parts of a cell by taking plant cell as a typical cell. The different parts of a cell are cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and other cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, chloroplast. Now let us see one by one. The first one is cell membrane. Cell membrane is the outermost layer in animal cell, and it is just below the cell wall in plant cell, and it is made up of lipids and proteins. Hence, it is also called as lipoprotein membrane. And as it contains two layers of lipids, it is known as bilipid layer, and it is also known as plasma membrane. It is semi-permeable in nature. That means it controls the entry and exit of molecules in and out of the cell. Hence, it is also called as semi-permeable membrane. It defines the size and shape of the cell and encloses and protects the cell organelles inside a cell and also the cytoplasm. The next one is cell wall. It is the outermost layer in the plant cell, and it is the specific feature of the plants. It is tough and made of cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin and pectin. It gives definite shape to the cell. It is impervious in nature. That means it does not allow even the water molecule to pass through it. But it contains plasmadesmata, which are small pores that allow the passage of water. It exerts an inward wall pressure, that is pressure towards inside the cell to resist the outward pressure exerted by the cell sap. Because the plants continuously absorb the water and the water gets into the cell continuously, it may exert a lot of pressure towards outside. So to resist this outward pressure, the cell wall exerts inward wall pressure. and so that the plants can withstand the pressure exerted due to the continuous absorption of water. And the next one is nucleus. This is the most important cell organelle discovered by Robert Brown in 1831. It is also known as cell's control room. It is the largest and most distinct part of the cell. Schleiden, who proposed the cell theory, thought that the new cells were created from the nucleus and he called it as cytoplast. It regulates and controls all the functions of the cell and determines the features of organisms. Because it contains all the genetic information of the organism, it involves in cell division majorly. Membranes that enclose nucleus separates it from the contents of cytoplasm. It is known as nuclear membrane. It resembles the cell membrane. Let us see the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, because on the basis of presence or absence of nucleus, the organisms are divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes differ with eukaryotes in many aspects. Prokaryotes do not contain a membranous bound nucleus, whereas eukaryotes contain a membrane bound nucleus. There are no any membrane bound structures in prokaryotes like chloroplasts, mitochondria, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. Whereas eukaryotes contain different membrane bound structures. The examples for prokaryotes are bacteria, whereas the examples for eukaryotes are plant cells. Some exceptions are there. Even the red blood cells and phloem sieve cells in plants do not possess nucleus. And of course, sometimes the nucleus may be in earlier stages, but in later stages the cells may lose the nucleus. Cytoplasm. It is the fluid content bounded by the plasma membrane. It contains many specialized cell organelles. Each of the cell organelles perform specific functions for the cell. The cytoplasm constitutes of different varieties of substances. But earlier it was thought as the protoplasm. Let us see what is the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm. Protoplasm was considered as the life fluid, because earlier it was thought that all the life processes take place only in the protoplasm. But after the discovery of nucleus, it is found that it is the basic medium in which various particles and membranes float around. Even after the discovery of nucleus, the protoplasm is differentiated as cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. Cytoplasm refers to the fluid which is present in between the nuclear membrane and cell membrane, whereas nucleoplasm is the fluid which is present inside the nucleus. Hence, cytoplasm refers to the protoplasm which is outside the nucleus, whereas protoplasm refers to whole fluid medium present inside the cell. And the cell organelles. There are several cell organelles found in a cell, as we discussed earlier, like ribosomes, Golgi complex, mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. Let us learn one by one. Mitochondria. Mitochondria can be observed by using Janus green bee solution in an onion peel itself, but under electron microscope the mitochondria is observed as such, constituting of different foldings inwardly. Let us see the structure of mitochondria. These are small spherical and cylindrical organelles. It is 8 microns long and about 0.5 microns wide, 150 times smaller than the nucleus, and it is about 100 to 150 mitochondria in each cell, and of course the number of mitochondria may depend on the type of function which that particular organ performs. When we observe the structure of mitochondria, it is bounded with two membranes, the outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane is smooth, and whereas inner membrane is folded inwardly and to form the cristae. These foldings are known as cristae. In between the cristae, there is a fluid substance called as matrix. It contains several lot of enzymes to perform its function. The basic function that mitochondria performs is cellular respiration, because the cellular respiration, that is oxidation of glucose or food substances, is taken over by mitochondria and release the energy. The energy which is released during this process is stored in the form of ATP in mitochondria. Hence, these are known as powerhouses of cell. The mitochondria are considered as powerhouses of the cell. And the next organelle are plastids. The plastids are the characteristic feature of the plant. There are three types of plastids. Chloroplasts are one of them. Let us see what are the three types of plastids. Chromoplasts, leucoplasts and chloroplasts. Chromoplasts contain the pigments of different colors which exist in flowers and roots, whereas leucoplasts are colorless and they exist in the parts which do not contain any color, that is roots, and they also act as storage tissue, that is amyloplasts. The chloroplasts contain the green color pigment called chlorophyll, which helps for the process of photosynthesis. Let us learn about one of the plastids, chloroplast. They are of different shapes, discoid, oval, etc. In algae, these can be found as ladders, spirals or reticulate. It is found in almost all the green colored parts of the plants like leaves, stem, etc. The diameter can vary from 4 to 10 microns. The function of chloroplast is photosynthesis because they contain a particular pigment called chlorophyll. With this chlorophyll, it can trap the solar energy and convert the solar energy into chemical energy. This process is known as photosynthesis, the process which provides the food for all the living organisms on this earth. Let us see the next cell organelle, that is ribosomes. Ribosomes are small granule-like structures in the cytoplasm of the cell. They are formed of RNA and protein. They may be free or scattered in cytoplasm and also attached to the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum. Protein synthesis is a major function of ribosomes. Wherever there are ribosomes, it means that some proteins are being synthesized. Next cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. It is a large network of membrane-bound tubes and sheets. It creates a passage in the cytoplasm to transport substances from one part of the cell to another part. It is formed from nuclear membrane and extends up to the cell membrane. Hence, it covers almost all the space of the cell. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. A rough endoplasmic reticulum, which contains ribosomes on it to perform protein synthesis. The other type is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which does not contain any ribosomes. It participates in lipid synthesis. In vertebrate liver cells, smooth endoplasmic reticulum plays a crucial role in detoxifying many poisonous substances and drugs. The next cell organelle is Golgi complex. It was observed by Camillo Golgi. It can be observed only with the electron microscope. It is made up of membranes and creates sac-like structures around which many fluid-filled vesicles are bound. The proteins and other substances produced in ribosomes reach the Golgi body and altered. They pack various substances before they are transported. They are transported to the one part of the cell to another part or even to the cell membrane or secreted out of the cell. So, whatever the cell secretes out is known as secretions. Secretions are of two types like enzymes and hormones. So, just think the number of Golgi apparatus is more in gland cells that secrete enzymes and hormones. Why? Because the Golgi complex packs different types of enzymes and hormones produced inside the cell and released out of the cell as secretion. Hence, they are more in number in gland cells. Lysosomes. Lysosomes are tiny particles visible in the cytoplasm containing the digestive enzymes. The materials that need to be destroyed are transported to lysosomes and get them digested. Sometimes the lysosomes burst and enzymes are released to digest the whole cell. That means if it is required to digest the whole cell to avoid the infections by some organisms, the whole cell will be digested by lysosomes. Hence, these lysosomes are considered as suicidal bags of the cell. And the next cell organelle is vacuole. The empty space present in the cell is called as vacuole. There is a large vacuole in plant cell and it is fluid filled sac. The small vacuoles in animal cells and large vacuole in plant cell. They maintain turgor pressure in the cell because the plants always absorb the water. They also export unwanted substances from the cell. And are the cells flat? Just observe this video. You can observe that the cells are not flat structures which we see in different textual books like our textbooks or any other material. But these are three-dimensional in structure. They form the whole body of the organisms. Cell theory. This is the theory proposed by Matthias Jakob Schleiden and Theodor Schwann, generally called as Schleiden and Schwann. Both of them together proposed that all the living organisms are made up of cells, and they have postulated a theory called cell theory and proposed this statement. Earlier, several scientists have worked on the structure of the cell, but Schleiden and Schwann had observed the cells of different kinds of organisms and finally postulated a theory containing a concept that all the living organisms are made up of cells. But they did not speak about the production of new cells. The point which is related to the production of new cells was admitted by Rudolf Karl Virchow. He has told that all the cells arise from pre-existing cells. So Rudolf Virchow added this point to the cell theory, and finally the cell theory was proposed with 2 points, that is, all the living organisms are made up of cells and all the cells arise from pre-existing cells.